We ended the show last night in a very cryptic way, on purpose. The reason that we ended in a cryptic way on purpose was because when you've been doing this long enough and you know some people, you have the advantage of not the overreaction. And when you know some people, you don't have the overreaction to some, like, oh no, we got killed in high school in the high school ranks of recruiting, where we had 8 out of 10 guys from the high school ranks of the top 100 that went in the MLB draft. And you think about certain things and you think to yourself, well, how do you come out here and tell the great people who are LSU fans not to panic, not to worry? Last night, the last sentence that I said on this show was very clear, but cryptic. And I understand why. And some of you, like most of you, came after me after the show last night. Blake, you're being too cryptic. You freaking Rudy Poo. And for that, I somewhat apologize. But as of today, and as of what Jay Johnson has done, after bringing in Zack York, bringing in one of my favorite players in the portal, and yes, I said it, make LSU baseball chubby again. Yeah, I said it. The big first baseman out of Grand Canyon, who, by the way, the last 3 years has absolutely demolished the baseball, the all-time leader for Grand Canyon in RBIs in 164 games. Jay Johnson, I do think, knows what he's doing. Not the only one that LSU would be getting today out of the transfer portal is Oregon State third baseman and infielder, and a guy who has played multiple positions inside of the infield. Trent Caraway from Oregon State has committed. We'll talk about those in just a quick second. But there are 3 things before we talk about these portal additions for Jay Johnson in LSU baseball. Number 1, there are 3 things that I know for certain when it comes to Jay Johnson in LSU. The 3 things is death, taxes, and LSU baseball, especially under Jay Johnson, always having a plan. You know, when Bear Jones and Ethan Fry went into the draft, when and where they did this past weekend, the question became, well, Blake, not only are you losing power from out of your lineup, you're losing some of the guys that you potentially thought that you were bringing in from the high school ranks. And here I am to tell you that Jay Johnson will always have a plan if and when he continues to be your head coach. But let's talk about this before we get into a lot of football here today. LSU did bring in and is bringing in, I got to admit, my favorite player in the transfer portal, and Zack York. I see all of your comments. 6'3", 290-pound first baseman from Grand Canyon, who had 199 hits in 164 career games. He had 32 doubles, did the big fella, with 2 triples. My man can pick him up and put him down when he needs to. Fat people can run. You know, I saw a movie one time about a white man and if he could jump, and he could. Fat people can run. But 32 doubles and 2 triples in his career at Grand Canyon with 32 long balls and 157 RBIs with a career average of 328. Now, he did the big fella in Zack York. He did hit 339 this year, but probably the biggest thing that Zack York, and the biggest addition that nobody would mention and nobody wants to mention, the swag, number 1, that he has that I love, but number 2 is the big fella does not swing and miss a lot. In 3 seasons, he only struck out 91 times. The majority of those strikeouts coming in year 1 as a freshman. But the base on balls to strikeout ratio is 122 to 91. With Bear Jones leaving, you have a massive hole to fill at first base. Now, I do not know if Zach York will fill that role completely. But here's what I do know. There's a plan with Zach York. The plan is, I'm assuming, is that when he gets into LSU in the strength and conditioning program, that there will be some things that LSU targets with him to work on. You cannot teach raw power. And I am not saying that Grand Canyon does not have a good developmental plan. I'm sure that they do. But it's not Louisiana State University. It's not Jay Johnson. And guys, quite honestly, there were some SEC teams that were after the big fella that could play first base. Guys, there's one thing that we know for sure. The one thing that we know for sure more in college baseball than any other sport is that experience plays. You know, I saw some of you today really questioning Jay Johnson. And I just got to say this from the bottom of my heart. I mean this with all due disrespect to all of you that are out there trashing Jay Johnson about some of these additions and the plan that he has going into 2026. You have no idea what you're talking about if you question Jay Johnson on what he does. You don't. You do not know more baseball than him. You never have. You never will. All of you fake little Rudy Poo T-ball coach having asses do not know more baseball than him. You don't. I coach my kids in Little League. Brother, you're the one that's sitting on third base as a coach telling little Timmy to get his elbow up. What are you doing? I hope little Timmy has a good baseball career, but you ain't going to be the reason. You do not know what you're talking about if you do not trust in this man. I've never in my life, seen a fan base who questions a man who won 2 out of the last 3 national titles more than this fan base does. I saw somebody on Twitter today said that if Jay Johnson walked across the Mississippi River, some of you would still question his powers. The Zach York edition, some of you better go watch this young man play. Now, can the big fella field? Well, he has a .993 fielding percentage. And in the errors or mass errors that he has came as a true freshman. This kid can play. And Jay Johnson, I trust. And listen, Zach York, with guys like Cerna and others, will have competition over at first base. So that's going to be very fun. It's not the only portal addition that Jay Johnson has brought in today. As officially, now some of you who are on the message board kind of saw the hint when I said Beaver Country. Trent Caraway, the third baseman, a.k.a. infielder, guy that's played multiple positions, also committed today. Trent Caraway hits .267 with 12 long balls and 47 RBIs a season ago. Trent Caraway, in the beginning of the season, was a top 50 prospect coming into last season. In the beginning of the year, Caraway had a massive slump going into what could have been more of a money year for him. In the slump, about halfway through the season, Caraway completely turned things around and went nuclear for Oregon State. Guys, quite honestly, carrying them through the playoffs. Trent Caraway hit 5 home runs in the postseason for Oregon State. The level of competition that Oregon State saw as well was not minute or small. Caraway was the one, if you remember, who hit the long ball against Florida State, the grand slam to slam the door on Florida State to go to Omaha. Guys, in Trent Caraway, you're getting a former top 30 overall prospect out of high school, a guy that goes to Oregon State that has a lot of connections with Jay Johnson and staff, and a guy that Jay knows very well. If the Trent Caraway that you're getting, along with Simpson, along with Dardar, along with Zack York, guys, you got to start asking the question of just how much have you done in solidifying what you have built and what you are building for LSU baseball going into 2026. Bear Jones had a lot of power that you have to replace. Guys, you constantly are replacing them with people with experience, people that have double-digit home runs. Oh, and by the way, for York's case, hit a long ball versus Florida's ace in Summer League and did the same thing twice to the Oregon ace a season ago. You add in a kid like Dardar from Kansas State, a Louisiana native, who took the number 3 overall prospect along with Case and Evans and blistered baseballs, one on Kate Anderson where he hit out of the park. The other one, LSU had to make a legendary play by Josh Pearson and Stephen Milam at home plate versus Kansas State, if you remember, to keep the game alive. Guys, this team's going to be solid. Oh, and by the way, it's not the only addition that they made. Division II's Angelo State Dax Dath was also added via the transfer portal. A young man with a slider that on average last season moved about 17 to 18 inches. That's what she said. Fastball up to 95 to 96 miles an hour, who literally everybody in the SEC was after. What the level of talent that you have on the mound and what you've done in the portal there with guys like Case and Evans, Devin Sheeran that returns, William Schmidt, so many other arms that we've already talked about ad nauseum that you've added through the portal, Santiago Garcia being one of them, the big lefties that you went and added. You adding Dath, Zach Cowan announcing last night that he is returning. Guys, I'm starting to get a little bullish about where you sit going into 2026. Now, I do not know or believe at the current moment that you're a national title contender. I don't even know if you're an Omaha 8. But here's what I know. You have a shitload of talent that's been around a lot of college baseball. There's one thing that I always will know, and I will never, and as we started this or ended the show last night, I never will doubt Jay Johnson on anything that he does, ever. It does amaze me the level of stuff that I see. Oh, by the way, I see in the chat from Aaron Miller, you're right, Maverick Rizzi, another arm who's dominating during the summer and who had the most appearances for you, by the way, also returns. You got Cooper Williams returning. Guys, the level of talent that you have right now currently, it is at a very, very high level. We will talk a lot about LSU baseball. But as we start to show off tonight, as we ended it the night before, there's two things that I'd say. Sometimes you really, really need to listen to the words that are said on this show. But then number two, when we say we're going to get to it tomorrow because of the things that are coming, maybe you should listen. I love what Jay Johnson has done. I love the York ad. I love it. I know some of you were talking about him being a big boy and all these different kinds of things, and I get it. they're going to have a plan in strength and conditioning to get him well under that 290-pound mark. I promise you. It's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if he started off the season around 250, 240, 250. Guys, he's got a long time to do it. You hope that the power doesn't change when you lose that much weight. But I will tell you, as someone now who's lost well over 100 pounds and now at 120 pounds lost in almost a year and a half. Guys, I'm stronger than I was when I started. Well stronger. The power's not going to change if you're doing the right things and eating the right way. But you got a lot of talent that returns. Stephen Myler. You have Braden Simpson. You now add Trent Caraway. You have Tanner Reeves. Can he take that step that you need him to take? You have John Pearson. Can he make a move? You bring in York. Chris Stanfield announced today, the big man, the man who came up more clutch for you in Omaha than almost anybody. And the guy who came up clutch for you in the postseason almost more than anybody. Actually, you can make the argument he came up clutch for you more than one game, and even in the final. Chris Stanfield announced today that he's returning. So your entire outfield returns with Jake Brown, Derek Curiel, and Chris Stanfield. And I would not be surprised if Chris Stanfield moves over to left field and Derek Curiel locks down that center field position. With Cade Aaron Beatty now taking over behind home plate, and Eddie Yaman returning, the question is, man, you got a lot of pieces that you can work with here. Depends on how you're going to do things. All right, let's get moving here. I do see a lot of comments flying in here. Where is everybody watching from tonight? Jesse O'Neill says, don't sleep on John Pearson. Completely agree. Completely agree. Noah Mason's in Plano, Texas. And the Portal King strikes again. That he does. York needs a Fat Boys Pizza NIL deal immediately. Shit, I'll give him one right now. I'll give Zack York an NIL deal right now. And make LSU baseball chubby again. Pause. I love it. I absolutely love it. Jay Johnson's going to do what he needs to do to win. I absolutely freaking love it. I absolutely love it. Oakdale says, Andrew, on YouTube. Good to have you in here. Larry is in Slidell, Louisiana. The 985 represent. Brandon is in Lake Charles. Good to have you in here with us. Looks like he's in his avatar here. Brandon is got the avatar with the Cowboys, Lake Charles Cowboy in there. Zeke says, get York on that Blake Money diet. Hell, forget the Blake Money diet. Get him on the Blake Ruffino diet. Get him on the Blake Ruffino diet. Go carnivore, baby. You'll absolutely love it. All right. We got lots to discuss. We'll come back after the break. We'll talk a little bit more, some things that we need to really emphasize in on from Media Days. Carter Bryant joins us at 5:30. Looking forward to having Carter with us here today. We'll talk about SEC Media Days. We'll talk about Lamar Brown. We'll talk about Austin Thomas and Sam Petito, all the things that we need to catch up on with Carter Bryant. And if you have questions at the end for us, we'll take those here tonight as well. Let me say this before we get moving. I want to thank our good friends, BetOnline over at BetOnline for the time that they were a part of AYS Sports. They were the first title sponsor of this show, and I greatly appreciate everything that they have done for us. You will see some new things over the next 2 weeks that maybe you have not seen in the past. I am very excited for the future of AYS. I'm vastly excited for the future over at AYS. What I would say is in a couple of weeks, we will be making an announcement that could set up AYS for its entire future. I know what happens when different logos and things a part of the show start changing. So I want to get out in front of that right now. But bottom line is, in a pair of weeks, you and I will be having a discussion that will probably change the future for AYS in its entirety. So I thank our good friends over there for all they've done for us, but the future is now for Blake Ruffino and AYS, and any of you that may be joining the team this upcoming season, and if any of you that do podcasts or radio shows, maybe we'll be bringing you on here as well. All right, let's get on to it. Let me get to a quick break. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all of those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, and wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. When we come back, talk some more significant things that happen at LSU or media days for LSU. Carter Bryant joins us at 5:30. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top priority.
We're back.
Okay. Yes, I did forget out something in our baseball segment here. Former LSU outfielder Ashton Larson has committed to the University of Texas, a team in Texas that will be coming into Baton Rouge next season to take on the LSU Tigers. I know that some of you do not like, nor should you like, when a former player goes to a team in the SEC that you play, especially a team like Texas that you will have to play next year, and Ashton Larson is not a bad player. Here's what I said during the season, and I will continue to say right now. Do I hate that Ashton Larson entered the portal and is not returning to LSU and not going to have the reps at LSU that maybe that he, I don't want to say deserves, but that he wants? Yes, actually. I hate it for LSU, and I hate it for Ashton Larson because he's a very good kid. If you've ever been around him, you ever talked to him, He's an amazing person to be around. But the bottom line remains for me with Ashton Larson is simple. And for all of you that are out there overreacting to him going to Texas, guys, he got beat out. There's no other way to say it. And I hate to say that because he's such a great human being. He got beat out. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I hope that you do. But I've seen some of you reacting to Ashton Larson going to Texas as, oh, man, I hate this. He should still be here. He should play over Stanfield. Guys, with all due respect to all of you, there are a couple of things. Number one, Chris Stanfield had 5 massive hits for you that either gave you the lead in the postseason or put you on the board first. Meaning like, hey, it's the top of the first. He gets a hit. You're on the board first. I cannot emphasize this enough. Chris Stanfield beat out Ashton Larson. You cannot replace over 550 at-bats in the college years for a guy like Stanfield. Guys, Chris Stanfield is the one that got the base hit to break the game open for you in Game 2 of the College World Series final. Every single year he has gotten better in the SEC, and he led your team in hitting in the SEC. Now, I do think Stanfield needs to move to left field. I do. I hate it for him that he needs to move to left field, but that position needs to be orchestrated by Derek Curiel or Jake Brown. And I think that it will be. For all we know, Jake could have something up his sleeve, hint, hint, wink, wink, for Chris Stanfield. But the bottom line remains, your entire starting outfield returns. Do I want to see Ashton Larson have success at Texas? No. But guys, he's got a long way that he's got to go. Do I think that he can have success? Yes. Do I actually think that he will have success? Yes. Guys, he couldn't break through. And that is the nature of the beast when you talk about the portal. I'm sorry it hurts some of your feelings. Like, I really do. I hate that some of your feelings are hurt. I really do. But at some point, we got to be adults about the situation and say, listen, man, this guy is better than you. Jake Brown is better than you. Derek Curiel is better than you. Chris Stanfield is better than you right now. I've seen a lot of you say that Ashton Larson's ceiling is bigger than Chris Stanfield's. From a MLB prospect standpoint, you might be correct. As a college player, you are not. You are not. So I should have emphasized that in the baseball segment of things, which actually is now pushing us into our football segment, as Connor Bryant's going to be joining us in a minute. So we'll probably just get to SEC Media Days with him. The bottom line remains, the pieces that Jay Johnson has added, the pieces that you have returning. Let's look at some of the pieces that you have returning. Kate Aaron-Beatty, you have Stephen Milam, you have John Pearson, which I'm not throwing him in there as a starter. You have Derek Curiel, you have Jake Brown, you have Chris Stanfield. You went out to the portal and got Braden Simpson, Zack York, Dardar, and you went out and got what might be the biggest overall piece that everybody wanted in the country, in Trent Caraway. Guys, I maybe me showing you my fingers, pause, maybe me pointing it out to you like that shows you the Jay Johnson plan. So now you mean to tell me that Jay Johnson went and got, as of today, with the guys that he has returning and probably that he knew would be returning, he's got 9 starters that you're penciling in on where they can play? Yes. Yes. You have your entire outfield returning. Yes. You might have 3 to 4 of the best young arms in the SEC with Casey Evans, Cooper Williams, Maverick Rizzi, and I'm still extremely high on William Schmidt. I think some of you put the development way too high from a freshman perspective. Way too high. Ask Kate Anderson. You get to a place where, guys, the dude literally is showing you and laying it out. You go out and get multiple left-handed arms from the portal. Garcia, your boy from North Dakota State, God bless it. Name slips in my mind at the current moment. I wanted to say Lancaster, but it's not. It's not. God bless it. Now I can't even think about it. Brandon, if you stop saying the name in my ear because I can't, you're wrong. It's not that. You get where I'm going. I just think that your talent level has been raised so significantly high that over the last 24 hours that people don't realize the plan that's in place. They don't realize the plan that's in place. So it is what it is. Randy Jones says Zach York is listed 6'2", 295. How you love that. I don't think that he will ever play at LSU at 295. I don't ever think he plays at LSU at 295. I think he gets to around 245, 250, and that's where he rolls. All right, I know we didn't get to the SEC media segment. We'll get to some more of those conversation pieces tomorrow. But let's get to Carter Bryant. Let's get to a quick break. Every episode is brought to you by our good friends over at ServiceHawk Digital Media with the right leads, smart systems, and real growth. You need to get a marketing system that works for you today. Go over to servicehawk.io. That's servicehawk.io today. Fill out their questionnaire, especially if you're an HVAC, if you're a generator pro, electrical pro, and you're looking to get those right leads. You're in real estate. You can do the same as well. Again, ServiceHawk Digital Media at servicehawk.io today. Let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Let me get to a quick break. Carter Bryant joins us next. Stay with us. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirement. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. We're back. Carter Bean Bryant Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Are we ready for the Texas SEC domination?
They are currently pushing Georgia in a locker right now. But let me tell you what I think's happening right now. I think come mid-August, Texas, some of these deals that Texas has put together is going to fall through.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because they're doing some illegal stuff. That's why.
Getting those
I think
deals in. Getting them
Oh,
deals
well, they can't. Well, they can't.
Yes, because of the
College Sports Commission.
Yes. So what are they doing now, Mr.
I think they just continue to do some of the same things that they've been doing in NIL. Here's the thing, though. I don't agree with some of the things that the College Sports Commission has done. I don't think an accounting firm can tell somebody and tell me what fair market value is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a slippery slope.
Very slippery.
And I've made that point a gazillion times. I mean, I just don't know how. I mean, I understand like rational sense. You could be like, well, most people know that you're not actually getting that amount of money for saying Joe Schmo's tire shop or whatever. But how can you judge that? It's a slippery slope.
Here's my thing. I know the money that I make for roughly 1 million total impressions a month, whether it be Ruffino and Joe Show or whether it be AYS combined. I know what I make a year. Okay. Some of these deals, some of these players have more followers than I do. So you get to a place where, well, they're getting paid $200,000, $300,000 a year in NIL. I'm sorry to tell you, it's about fair market value. I'm sorry to tell everybody that. I mean, when you look at CPM ratings from YouTube or whether it be from any service, massive national service that pays for things like this, okay, I don't think that it's egregious of what Texas is doing, but I don't know if that Deloitte, who is a Rudy Poo of an organization, is going to allow it. Deloitte is the worst accounting firm on the face of the planet, and I will die on a hill with that. They have no business.
Wow. Yeah. We're getting into assets and liabilities here. Are you freaking kidding?
Joe, I told Joe this, but Carter, you're letting an accounting firm argue legal battles. So it's dumb. But to your point of what you're saying, Georgia is currently being pushed in a locker by Texas in recruiting.
It's insane. And it's also ironic that they were both at the SEC Media Days today, not necessarily together, but, their paths certainly crossed at some point. So, but it's not just that.
Kirby knew. Kirby knew.
Yeah, of course. But I will say, Blake, it is going to be hard to not see them win at least one natty over the next 3 years. And
we've seen teams dominate recruiting like this and not been able to win. They got to beat Georgia first. Georgia's still got a really damn good recruiting class.
Right.
So,
it's just I just think it is going to be hard for them to not win at least one. And another thing another thing that's been very interesting for them is that a lot of the guys that they have recruited out of high school have hit, and they're studs, right? And we can get into the transfers that they've gotten, we can get into the NIL that they've spent, but they got a bunch of young year 1, year 2, year 3 kind of guys. Like, it's going to be hard to not see Ryan Wingo be a superstar in this offense. Obviously, we know what Colin Simmons is. The Burke kid is very underrated. 91. I like him a lot. Very long arms. Makes a lot of plays. Had a big game versus Clemson last year. So, man, it's just hard for me, Blake, to not see them at least win one. over the next couple of years. But maybe I'm overvaluing them. Maybe
Yeah,
I am.
you at the current moment you are, because you can't base everything off of recruiting, because we've seen teams recruit at a high level and A&M happens. Now, they've been in the Final Four the last couple of years, but they got to get over the hump. I mean, they got to show that they can get over the hump and do those things first. I don't think what you're saying is egregious by any stretch of the imagination. But let's see what happens here before we go.
Yeah,
there.
of course. It's just
right. Win the
vibes
SEC
are high.
first. I mean, can they win the conference before they win? I mean, Carter, we got LSU fans that still question Jay Johnson. He's won 2 natties in the last 3 years. I mean,
wait, they still exist? There's LSU
apparently those Rudy Poos still exist. So look, we'll see. All right, Carter, LSU was at SEC Media Days. I know that you're going to talk about this in just a moment. I saw your headline for your show here at 6:00. So you don't have to go into it in an immense amount, because I know
let's talk
about it. Carter, I got to admit, the maturity level of Garrett Nussmeier is 180% turnaround from what we saw a year ago. I think from the national perspective, that's what a lot of people are seeing too. It's the number one thing coming out of LSU for Media Days has got to be the maturity level of what we saw from Garrett Nussmeier the last couple of weeks, right? And not Manning Passing Academy, but I mean, it happened at SEC Media Days too. That's the biggest thing that I took away from all of this.
Yeah, it's essentially what Jaden did before his big year was him saying what he needs to do a better job of. And Garrett, went deeper into that about how he's changed his body. Yeah,
first thing that came out of his mouth was, I need to turn down the turnovers.
Right. And just overall be a better runner, be a more willing runner, taking a look at his body, seeing what he could do to be better in that. Because look, we'll see what Garrett looks like in the fall in pads, but man, I will never forget, because I never, me, Blake, I never try to take too much away from any practice, even though, I've done practice breakdowns for years now. One of the biggest transformations was Jaden going into that final year. You could see that he actually did put in all the work that he had been saying at the Manning Academy, at SEC Media Days and all of that.
Well, you saw it on his body, if you remember when he was standing next to Belichick.
Yes. I mean, he was he's different. Like, he was so thin, and then all of a sudden he's thicker. And you know how I am about thick. I'm excited about that thick baseball transfer they brought in there.
Bless it. Dude, massive pause.
Dude, I love my SEC athletes thick, man. This is a thick conference. You got to have that power, baby. And Garrett says he has changed his body, and he's going to be even more willing to run and take the hits that come along with it and pop right back up. So really excited about Garrett, excited for Witt, excited for Chris and BK also speaking very confidently, not only about himself, but about all the coaches in the SEC, which I found to be fascinating.
What part of it did you find fascinating from Brian Kelly?
What was that last answer to like the main session question? So for those that don't know, you do all these different interviews, right? And Brian actually does really good local radio interviews. And you could get some nuggets from like just a random interview he did with Frank Frangie in Jacksonville. But at the end, he said transparency for the future of the conference is going to be big. He was asked a question about from Sports Business Journal about that. And he's like, us as coaches, we need to be even more
specifically talking about the College Football Commission.
Right. So BK is always illuminating and all of that. But one thing I will say, and this has been consistent last year and before the last couple of seasons, Brian Kelly has said in public interviews, hey, let's pump the brakes on this team, right? This year has not been the case. It's not a whole lot of let's pump the brakes. And the big thing, Blake, knowing that this is your favorite position, the offensive line confidence. He has a lot of confidence in this position group going into next year, which I don't. And I know you don't either. But Brian Kelly has been arguably the best offensive line head coach in the country over the past decade. So if he says it, hopefully I can get myself to believe that, and we'll see what happens.
I think there's two schools of thought that can happen with the offensive line. I think that he didn't say anything of relevance outside of coach speak, meaning his words were, "I'm very bullish on the offensive line." That doesn't admit anything, right? I can be bullish that I'm going to have a six-pack by the end of the year. Doesn't mean that I'm accurate about it, okay? But the other school of thought on that is this. We never in spring, even though they allowed 6 sacks and a half during a half of spring football in a scrimmage, what we didn't see was DJ Chester moving to guard. What we didn't see was Braylon Moore at center, and we didn't see Thompson at the other guard. And Carter, I'm going to be honest with you. I told you this off air. I've been saying it on air. I don't give a flying Rudy Poo who hears me. They're going to have to find a spot for Caris Kern. It's going to happen. So whether that's rotational, regardless of what it is, he's too much of a freak. I don't want to come out here and say that I think the offensive line is bad right now, but what we've seen, they've been bad. I don't think Cohen Eccles is ready, not remotely close to being ready. I don't think Borderline is remotely close to being ready, which could indicate that you don't have quality depth outside of Kern. So it's going to be interesting to see, and Mabinga. It's going to be interesting to see how they do all of this.
We'll see. My dog just went nuts because my wife's not used to me being live at 5:30. Yeah. You want to say hi to Blake? You want to come say hi? Okay. She said no.
Girl.
But I will say, Blake, I am as high, if not higher than you, than Caris Kern. He actually did end up being the number 1 rated player in this class for me. Him and DJ Pickett had the same grade. So I know you're really high on DJ Pickett. I think everybody is well. Caris is that guy. I do think if we're basing it just on talent and who I think will end up being the best offensive lineman in the room right now, it'll be Caris Kern. He'll be an all-SEC player. He'll be an NFL draft pick. I see a lot of Trey Turner in this game, just an all-out freak show where it might take a year before you actually.
I think he's stronger than him right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievable.
Carter, he could have benched 500.
Yeah, I've gotten to see him play in person. I mean, I think he would be a really good Division I defensive lineman as well. So those are the kind of guys that I want. I want those types of athletes. He is as athletic as any LSU offensive lineman recruit I've ever seen.
He might be from an interior standpoint on either side of the ball. He might be the most athletic than anybody on the team.
Yeah,
from an interior lineman standpoint.
Yeah, and I will also say that someone who knows this room really well agrees with me that he is, if you're basing it just on talent and potential alone, he's the best offensive lineman in the room. But once again, that's a lot. It's a true freshman. And one thing Brian Kelly did say about the offensive line is he says he's not in a position where he has to play a true freshman like he was, a few years ago with Will Campbell and Emory Jones. So we'll see how this plays out. I never like to just overhype a kid, but Caris Kern has that dog in him, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do.
Anything else before I ask you a couple of quick questions here? Anything else stand out from you on SEC Media Days?
Not really. It's overrated in terms of what the specific athletes.
Well, let me ask you this: are you surprised that they've put Clemson logos going 1-0 all over the building? I went back today and listened to Brian Kelly for like 3. I would say probably all 3: the individual interview, the local media interview, and then his main subject matter. You know that he brought up the Clemson and LSU going 1-0 17 times in less than an hour.
Oh, it's insane. It's driven everybody in that room nuts. And I will also
He don't
say
care. He does not care. You go 1-0. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, and I say that as in the season opening thing is driven so many people at LSU insane because they understand that while also understanding there is still a bigger picture than just this one non-conference game at the beginning of the season. But Blake, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I have Clemson as a first round bye. I have fully bought in on their hype. I just really do think they're that good of a team. And I think this obviously will be one of LSU's better teams, hopefully under Brian Kelly. And I think we're in store for one of the best season opening games in LSU history. And there have been some really, really good ones. You
just can't get blown out if you lose. You got to lose 24-21.
Yeah, and this is just a harsh truth of the Brian Kelly era. When they lose, they lose. All right. I mean, the score gets ran up, and I'm with you. I think how you lose matters. Now, it doesn't to most fans. I would say to 75 to 80% of LSU fans, they don't care how you win. They don't care how you lose. Well, Blake, if you're a head coach that preaches process, how you win and how you lose matters. Because if you preach process all the time, the end result's not as important as the process. So I just can't get to the point where if LSU loses a close game, I'm not going to hot take it until the end of time that this is the worst thing in the world. But if they do get blown out, it would be very, very, very unacceptable knowing all the work that LSU is putting in for this game.
Thoughts on getting Lamar Brown and the week that LSU had with the off-field recruiting staff? And
he's big.
And getting Sam Petito and Jeff Martin back, et cetera.
Yeah, Blake, I've actually not talked to you about this directly, but I did see the clips that you're very well rounded with Petito in particular. And that's obviously a big
off-field hire in LSU probably in the last decade. Think I'm playing with you.
No, I mean, Ohio State wins when he gets there, and Saban.
Ask Caleb Downs. Ask Caleb Downs why he went to Ohio State, because I have.
I will also say Saban loves that guy.
He does.
He adores him.
He brought in the player that won a Heisman and won 2 national championships for Saban. Yeah, he freaking loves him.
So, yeah, I mean, that's big. Bolden, I'm excited about him. I've always followed him on social dating back to his days at Arkansas. And then, of course, Jeff Martin. I knew Jeff vaguely. I'm glad he's back at Baton Rouge. I know this is where he wants to be. So, really excited about that. And Blake, Lamar Brown's a real deal. I mean, this is a special athlete, kind of like what we just talked about with Caris Kern. Can legit play at a high level on both sides of the line, and those are the kind of guys that you want. I know he wants to play on the defensive side of the football, and look, I think he could be a very, very good defensive player. His offensive line tape is spectacular. He's a very nuanced player to go along with his athleticism. And like, I know you've seen, his tape yourself, but his ability to climb to the second level is just so smooth. And that was from his sophomore tape, where he was the best athlete on the field in every game that he played. And he is an offensive tackle where it's really hard to display that. That's how much he would jump off the film when you would watch him. So Lamar is worth the hype. I do think he is a very, very, very special player. I don't feel like that about every 5-star recruit. I've said mentioned
multiple times on this show. You've said it.
Yeah. I do believe it. I really do believe it. I mean, this is a big time recruit, and he will be an all SEC player at LSU.
Last but not least, Austin Thomas. Do you think that his addition has changed the direction of LSU in some way?
Yeah, and look, Austin is living life. He's getting a lot of LSU guys back once again, Jeff Martin was a very popular guy. He goes to USC, and you get him back.
Wasn't even there for a game. Got fired, if you remember.
Yeah, and look, I will say this time in and time out about Austin. Got a pretty sizable raise just a few months ago.
Deserved after this week.
Yeah, and look, you're under a lot of pressure when your salary nearly doubles, and you deliver, right? That was a backyard kid that you needed to win out, and he got it done.
He did.
But also just organizing the transfer portal class, the reported Excel sheets. I mean, I know everyone doesn't want to look at football from a spreadsheet standpoint, but Blake, you have to now, because whether or not people want to admit this, you do have rules you have to follow with revenue sharing. We talked about Deloitte a minute ago. There are ways you could skirt around it, but in life, when you get official limits that you have to abide by, we have speed limits that we have to abide by in society. Do people still speed and drive 100 miles per hour? Sure. Ask Kirby Smart that. They do. But the limits themselves make driving safer on roads, whether or not we want to admit it. Now that we have rules in place where you have 20.5 million or whatever it is for revenue sharing, and you have to go through, a third party Deloitte and all that stuff, you do need to factor in cost with every single player that you have. And Austin Thomas, a big part of his job is helping allocate those resources. And even though this isn't a hard salary cap and there's ways you can work around it, it's not like in the NBA when you got all these aprons and stuff like that. You do need structure, and Austin has brought a lot of that structure to LSU. So I'm really excited to see where we go from here.
Absolutely. Carter Bryant Carter Bryant is live next, correct? You're live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time?
Yeah. Why'd you go at 5 tonight? We got T-ball or what we got tonight?
It's the All-Star game, and I promised Ben I would watch the MLB All-Star game with him. Yeah.
Oh, MLB All-Star game.
Yeah, Paul Skeens is on the bump. If I'm not mistaken, the first or second batter that he's going to face is Aaron Judge. And Ben, my son, who, by the way, is just adores baseball. Like all of his new book sack for school that starts in August, it's a baseball book sack. His lunchbox is a baseball. His water bottle is a baseball. Like it looks like a baseball. Okay.
Yeah.
He is, dude. I don't think you can hear it. Can you hear him right now? Because he's outside my door.
No, I can't. Okay. I can't. Yeah.
Dude, it's all he does. Ask my wife. He plays baseball all day. He will hit off a tee all day until his hands are like blistered. And I try to make him stop, and he won't. He's the hardest working 6-year-old that you'll ever see in your life. I know people say that about their children. I will video it.
Well, you know what you have to do. I saw these videos.
I'm not taking that out of him.
Well, you need. What was it? The first overall pick had like a full-size batting cage and stuff like that.
Oh, I will build that. If it gets that serious, I will build it.
Yeah, I've been to your house before. Well, you need to hit up. You need to hit up Derek Curiel's dad.
Oh, Rick. Yeah, me and Rick. I'll call Rick. I'll call Rick tonight.
Oh, so Rick. Well, call Rick up, and you got to build whatever the hell he built, because obviously that worked. I don't know. He had like a turf field and a little batter's box for him. So shout out to you, Rick, and shout out to Bo Curiel, the real reason Derek is a success. So
me and Bo Curiel might have shared a beer at Omaha. That's all I'm going to say. By the way, Dave Shootmate, you have on tonight.
Yeah.
You need to ask him about the off-field player personnel stuff. You're welcome. Dave was the director of player personnel for Gus Malzahn for 7 years.
Yeah. We've had Dave on a few times. We'll talk soon, Blake.
See you, buddy. Peace.
See you later.
It's Carter, the Power Bryant. Guys, we are also out of here with Carter, cutting the show a little bit short tonight. I am going to watch the MLB All-Star game we will dive in deeper tomorrow into all of this. Until then, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all be good. Peace.